नमः पार्वती पतये गोविंद नाम संकीर्तनम्
श्रीकांतो मातुलो यस्य जननी सर्वमंगला जनकः शंकरो देवः तं वंदे कुंजराननं श्यामवल्ली समालीढं विरिञ्चिपुरभास्वरं मार्गबन्ध्वाह्वयं तेजः तनोतु विमलां धियम् इदं च रङ्गं त्यजतामिहाङ्गं न विद्यतेऽङ्गं यदि वास्तु चाङ्गं पाणौ रथाङ्गं शयने भुजङ्गं याने विहङ्गं चरणे च गाङ्गम् कावेरी तटशोभिरङ्गनगर प्राग्भागजम्बूतरु प्रान्तोद्यन्मणि सद्मनि स्थितमधः जम्बूतरोस्थायिनः लूते भार्चितरङ्गनाथ वरदं भक्त्याखिलाण्डेश्वरी पूजा निर्मित सज्जलाकृतिधरं श्रीजम्बुनाथं भजे श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् श्रीमत्क्षीरतरङ्गिणी तटगते पुण्ये विरिञ्चे पुरे यं सन्निहितं किला कलयितुं क्षीराभिषेकादरं श्रीगारुत्मतवल्लिका सहचरं मार्गे सहायं नृणां श्रीमद्दीक्षितविप्रदैवतवरं संचिन्तये शङ्करम् अप्पय्य दीक्षितेन्द्रान् अशेष विद्यागुरूनहं वन्दे यत्कृतिबोधा बोधौ विद्वद विद्वद विभाजकोपाधि. My humble obeisance to Jagadguru Shankara Acharya Shri Vijayendra Saraswati Swami Kanchi Kamakoti Peetham. I thank the Dharma Moolam team for organizing this series of talks on the life of Srimad Appayya Dikshitendra. And I wish all my listeners a very happy Deepavali. In the previous lecture, we discussed about the Charitam of Dikshitendra's grandfather, that is Vakshasthalacharya. Vakshasthalacharya was the grandfather of Srimad Appayya Dikshitendra. He was a very illustrious person, and Dikshitendra makes a reference to his name in many of his works. So we saw the shloka Asetu bandhatatam acha tushara shailat Acharya Dikshita iti prathitabhidhanam Advaita chitsukha maham buddhimagna bhavam asmat pitamaham ashesha gurum prapadye. In this shloka, Dikshitendra extols his grandfather as a very great Agnihotri, as a person who has performed many great yagas. He also extols him as an Advaita Vidyacharya and a Brahmajnani. He also extols him as a Vidya Guru, a Shiksha Guru for him. In his Dikshitendra Vijayam, Shri K.V. Subramanya Shastrigal says, Yanshta Vichakshanan Anuvelama Sevata Vitarana Vichita Parijataha Vidhuta Khilarati Jataha. And then, so he says, the Maharaja of Vijayanagar, Vijayanagaradhishaha Krishnarajaha. So he was engaged in the constant service of Shri Vakshasthalacharya. He accepted Shri Vakshasthalacharya as his guru and served him with great devotion. Jatuchita Mahishi Sakhoyam Sarvabhaumaha Srimad Acharya Dikshita Issamam Varadaraja Vasantotsave Bhagavataha Varadarajas Divyamangala Vigraham Divyaratnabharanaalankritam Avalokayan Bhakti Bhara Upajata Pramoda Meduraha Saprashrayam Tan Kavishekharanalakshya Bhagavan Upashlokayatu Bhavan Varadarajam Iti Vyajignapat Jatuchito. Once upon a time, Mahishi Sakhoyam Sarvabhaumaha, this great emperor, along with his Mahishi or queen, and along with Srimad Acharya Dikshita, that is Sri Vakshasthala Acharya, he was standing in the Vasantotsava of Sri Varadaraja Swami of Kanchi. On seeing the Divyamangala Vigraham of Sri Varadaraja Swami, which was decorated with various ornaments, he was filled with devotion towards the Lord, and with utmost humility, Saprashrim. So Saprashrim means with utmost humility, he approached Vakshasthala Acharya, who was crest jewel among poets, Kavishekaraha. So Tan Kavishekharana Alakshya, on seeing that Kavishekara Shri Vakshasthala Acharya, iti Vyajignyapata. So he made the following request: Bhagavana, O Bhagavan, Upashlokayetu Bhavan Varadarajam. You write a poetry in praise of Varadaraja. And then he says, Atha Angikrita tad abhyarthananam Vakshasthala Ganapati Manudhyayatam Tesham Mukharavindat Ayatnato Nissasara Rasabhava Bharita Kachana Saraswati. So on accepting his request, and then he says, Vakshasthala Ganapati Manudhyayatam. So the word Vakshasthala Ganapati Anudhyayatam, it means he was an Upasaka of one particular form of Vinayakar named Vakshasthala Ganapati. Tesham Mukharavindat. From the lotus-like lips of that Vakshasthala Acharya, Ayatnataha, without any effort, Nissasara, Kachana Saraswati. Some shloka emerged from the mouth of Vakshasthala Acharya without any effort, without any great difficulty. He composed a shloka on Varadaraja Swami at the moment. And it is Rasabhava Bharita, he says, K.V. Subramanya Shastrigal. So it was completely filled with a lot of alankarams, with a lot of rasas, a lot of rasabhavas. And what was this shloka? Kanchana Gaurangi Vikshya Saksha Divashriyam Varada Samshayapannaha Vakshasthalam Avekshata. Kanchana Gaurangi. On seeing someone who had a color that resembled golden color, so who was extremely effulgent. So this refers to Kanchita, so this refers to the queen of Vijayanagar Maharaja. So she was blessed with all Shri. So because of that, Vakshasthala Acharya says, Kanchita Kanchana Gaurangi. So Lord Varadaraja, on seeing a woman who was of the color of molten gold, Vikshya Sakshadivashriyam, she resembled Sridevi herself, Sakshat Shriyam Iva Vikshya Varadaha Samshayapannaha. Varadaraja Swami had a doubt, and after having this doubt, some particular doubt, Vakshasthalam Avekshate, he looked into his Vakshasthalam or his chest, and this shloka has been quoted by Srimad Appayya Dikshitendra in his work known as Chitra Mimamsa in Alankara Shastra. Chitra Mimamsa is one of the magna opera of Dikshitendra in the field of Alankara Shastra. He has composed Kuvalayanandam. This is a manual on Alankara Shastra. This is for a beginner. And he has also composed Chitra Mimamsa and then Vrittivartikam. So these are his works on Alankara Shastra. Apart from this, his commentary on Swami Vedanta Deshikar's Yadavabhirya Mahakavyam, so even that has a lot of explanation on the Alankarams used by Swami Vedanta Deshikar. So these are Alankarams are figures of God, figures of speech. So Sanskrit rhetoric could be considered as Alankara Shastra. So Chitra Mimamsa is a recondite treatise in Alankara Shastra. So it is very difficult. It's not very easy to understand. And this shloka has been quoted by Srimad Appayya Dikshitendra in his Chitra Mimamsa while explaining the Sandeha Alankara. So there he says, Tadyatha Sandeha Alankara Dhvanihi Yatha Asmat Kulakutastha Vakshasthalacharya Krite Varadaraja Vasantotsave iti. So he says, this shloka was composed by Asmat Kulakutastha. So the leader of our family, Vakshasthalacharya. So it was composed during Varadaraja Vasantotsave. So it was composed during Varadaraja Vasantotsava. And there are many different samshayas or doubts, because of which Varadaraja looked at his bosom, at his chest. So the one samshaya is Lakshmyaha Purodrishtayashta Madhye Kasyaha Rupamadhikam iti samshayavishtaha. So this is one reason for the doubt of Varadaraja Swami. So among Lakshmi Devi and this Shri who is standing in front of me, so among Lakshmi Devi who is situated in my Vakshasthala, and this woman who resembles Shri Devi, whose beauty is whose beauty is superior. So having this samshaya in his mind, he looked at his Vakshasthala. He looked at the Mahishi who was standing in front of him, and to see the beauty of Lakshmi Devi who is there eternally in his chest, he looked at his Vakshasthalam or chest, and then Nirasta Samadhika Rupatva Bhimanini Lakshmi hi Purataha Enam Drushtva Katham Vartate iti Samshayapannaha iti va. So he says that is the next Samshaya. So the beauty of Lakshmi Devi surpasses the beauty of everybody else in the world. So on seeing the beauty of this woman, the Mahishi of Vijayanagara Raja, Varadaraja Perumal, he wanted to see how's the face expression of Lakshmi Devi. So Varadaha Samshayapannaha Vakshasthalam Avekshate. Because of this reason, he looked at his Vakshasthalam. And then the third reason he gives is Iyamcha Vakshasi Kutra Niveshaniya iti Samshayapannaha iti va. So the Mahishi of Vijayanagara Raja, so she resembles Lakshmi Devi. So it means Varadaraja Swami thinks in his mind, where should this Lakshmi be placed in my Vakshasthalam? So already there is one Lakshmi Devi in my Vakshasthalam. So it looks like another Lakshmi Devi has to be placed in my Vakshasthalam. So where is there a place for this Lakshmi Devi in my Vakshasthalam? Iti Varadaha Samshayapannaha Vakshasthalam Avekshate. And then Dikshitendra go on to say in his Chitra Mimamsa, Iti Bhavaha Samshayakaraha Vakshasthalam Avekshate Ityanayana Vyangyaha Sambhavanti. So in this way, many different Samshayakaras could be guessed. So in this way, Dikshitendra explains the shloka Kanchit Kanchana Gaurangi Vikshe Saksha Divashriyam Varadaha Samshayapannaha Vakshasthalam Avekshate. And then K.V. Subramanya Shastri says, Tena Ragnya Prarthitaha te Vakshasthalacharyakyam Upagamya Tadakhyaya Upaprathire. So once again, Maharaja approaches Vakshasthalacharya and he requests if he can give him the title Vakshasthalacharya. And only after Acharya Dikshitara accepted it, Vijayanagara Maharaja gave him the nickname Vakshasthalacharya out of respect and reverence. And from then onwards, he became known as Vakshasthalacharya. And even Mannargudi Periva, in his Dikshitendra Vamshabaranam, he says that Vijayanagara Raja did not name him as Vakshasthalacharya without his permission. So even if this is a name that he gives him out of respect and reverence, So even then, so he had the humility to again seek the permission of his guru to give him a nickname, so which is full of respect and reverence for him. And only when the guru accepted, he gave him the name Vakshasthalacharya. So that is the greatness of Vakshasthalacharya. And in his Dikshitendra Vamshabharanam, Manargudi Periva says that, so there is one story associated with Vakshasthalacharya. So he had two wives. So the senior wife was a Smarta and the junior wife was a Shri Vaishnava. So there is a shloka in Kalpatara Parivala Vyakaranam of Dikshitendra. Vaikunthacharya Vamsham Budhima Kirana Srimad Vidya Charya Shri Rangaraja Vayavisrta Yasho Vishwajidya Jisunoha. And in this shloka, Dikshitendra identifies himself as the descendant of one Shri Vaishnava Brahmana named Vaikunthacharya. And this Vaikunthacharya, he was also known as Rangarajacharya. Dikshitendra was born in a Smarta family. So he was born in a family which followed Shri Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada. Then how is it that he identifies himself as a descendant of some Shri Vaishnava Brahmana? So he says, so this Shri Vaishnava Brahmana, he had a daughter named Totaramba. And this Totaramba, she was the wife of Vakshasthalacharya. And Vakshasthalacharya had a son named Rangaraja Dhwari or Rangaraja Dikshita. And Rangaraja Dhwari was the father of Srimad Appayya Dikshitendra. So the word Vaikunthacharya Vamsham Budhihi. So the word Vaikunthacharya Vamsha means Dauhitra Vamsha of Vaikunthacharya. The Dauhitra Vamsha means the lineage of the daughter of Vaikunthacharya. So Dikshitendra, he says, he belongs to the Dauhitra Vamsham of Vaikunthacharya, not the Pautra Vamsha. So he belonged to the Pautra Vamsha of Vakshasthalacharya and Dauhitra Vamsha of Vaikunthacharya. So this is what Dikshitendra says. So there is one Nalacharita Natakam written by Mahakavi Shri Nilakantha Dikshitar of Palamade. So there in his Nalacharita Natakam, Nilakantha Dikshitar is the grandson of Srimad Appayya Dikshitendra's younger brother. Dikshitendra had one younger brother and one younger sister. So his younger brother was known as Achan Dikshitar. Achan Dikshitar had 5 sons, and one of his 5 sons was Narayana Dikshitar. Son of Narayana Dikshitar was Mahakavi Shri Nilakantha Dikshitar of Palamade. So in his drama Nalacharita Natakam, Nilakantha Dikshitar says, Tasya cha Krishnaraja Vandita Charanarvindasya Bharadvaja Kulachudamanehe Ashtabhih Kratubhih Ashtabhirayatanischa Shambhoho Ashtabhis Tatakaihi Ashtabhischa Sarvavidya Visharadaihi Tanayaihi Ashtapidishaha Yashobhirjvalitaha Tasya Panchamassumuhu Advaita Vidya Mukara Vivarana Darpana Dyaneka Prabandha Nirmata Shilita Eva Rangaraja Dhwari Iti. So this is the, so these are the words of Mahakavi Shri Nilakantha Dikshitar. So Tasya cha Krishnaraja Vandita Charanarvindasya. And then Bharadvaja Kulachudamanehe. So the crest dwell among the family of sage Bharadvaja. So this means that Vakshasthalacharya belonged to the Bharadvaja Gotra. Krishnaraja Vandita Charanarvindasya. He was worshipped by Krishnadeva Raya of Vijayanagar. And of this Vakshasthalacharya, Ashtabhih Kratubhih Ashtabhirayataniishta Shambhoh Ashtabhistataakaihi Ashtabhischa Sarva Vidya Visharadaihi Tanayaihi Ashtapi Dishaha Yashodhirjvalitaha. All the 8 directions of Vakshasthalacharya shone brilliantly with his fame. And then he says, Ashtabhih Kratubhih. So he performed 8 great yagas. And then Ashtabhirayatanaishcha Shambhoho. He erected 8 temples of Lord Shiva. Ashtabhis Tatataihi. And he also built built ponds in different places, 8 ponds. Ashtabhishcha Sarva Vidya Visharadaihi Tanayahi. He had 8 sons who were very illustrious, Sarva Vidya Visharadaha. So they had mastery in all the Shastras, in all the Vidyasthanams. In this way, Ashtapi Dishaha, all the 8 directions of Vakshasthalacharya shone brilliantly. And Tasya Panchamas Sunuhu, the 5th son of this Vakshasthalacharya, he was the celebrated Rangarajadhvari, Shilita Eva Rangarajadhvari, and he was the author of works in Advaita Vedanta like Advaita Vidyamukura and Vivarana Darpana. So these are the works written by Vakshasthala Rangarajadhvari in the Advaita Vedanta. And in his works like Shikhreni Mala and Shastra Siddhartha Lesha Sangraha, Dikshitendra writes a shloka. Vidwadguror Vihita Vishvajita Dvarasya Shri Sarvato Mukha Mahabrata Yajisunoho. So Shri Sar, so he says I am the son of Shri Rangaraja Dikshita, who is the son of Shri Sarvato Mukha Mahabrata Yajisunoho, the son of a Brahmana who performed Sarvato Mukham and Mahavratam. Yagams like Sarvato Mukham and Mahavratam. So the word Shri Sarvato Mukha Mahavrata Yaji refers to his grandfather Vakshasthalacharya in this shloka. So this shloka that I quoted now, this is the last shloka of Shikhreni Mala, and this could also be seen as the last shloka of Shastra Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha. So how did Vakshasthalacharya have 2 wives? So the senior one was a Smartha and the junior wife was a Shri Vaishnava. And Mannargudi Periva says this in his Dikshitendra Vamshabharanam. Itsham hi vridhaha katham varnayanti. So this is how the elders, the elders of the past, past generation have described the story. So once, while Vakshasthalacharya was coming back to his village along with Krishnadevaraya, so it was Sandhya Kala, and he had to get down in a place and do his Sayam Sandhya Vandanam, Sayam Agnihotram and Upasana. So he found a pond, and on the banks of that pond, he performed his Sayam Sandhya Vandanam, Sayam Agnihotram and Upasana. And this pond happened to be lying very close to an Agrahara which was inhabited by Shri Vaishnava Brahmanas. And when a new person had come to their Agrahara, so at that time Vakshasthalacharya was 30 years old at that time, says Mannargudi Periva. So the young girls of the Agraharam, so who were, they were not even 10 to 12 years old. So all of them came to see, someone some Tiryak Pundradari, it looks like. So all of them were Vaishnavas in their Agrahara. So it looked like they've never seen a person wearing Tripundram or Bhasmadhanam, something they have never seen. So it was a very strange sight for them to see a Tripundradhari. And all of them came to see who this person was. Like some new person has come to our Agraharam and he's been doing his Sandhya Vandanam and Anushtanam in the pond here. And when the sun was about to set, so one by one, all the girls, every girl started going back to her own house. So it's like, like all of them, they spoke to themselves, even if we start standing, if we stay here further, so all our parents and elders at home will, they will start getting angry. So out of fear for their parents and elders at home, all the girls went back to their homes. and only one girl was standing there. And after Vakshasthalacharya finished his Anushtanam, so he saw one girl alone standing there and she was literally in tears. So he asked her, "Why are you standing here alone? All of your friends have gone back home. And why have you not gone back home? So won't your parents be worried of you? Won't they be searching for you? And when you go home late, so will they not punish you? Why are you still standing here?" And on hearing this, she started crying and she said, "Out of extreme poverty, my father has decided me to give me away in marriage to a very old Brahmana. And some old, and this Brahmana is a very old and invalid person. So she says, I don't want to marry him." And then he says, "Aham tu smarta tripundradari." So I am a smarta who wears tripundram. And you belong to a family of Urdhva Pundradaris. You are a Vaishnava Sutta. You are the daughter of a Shri Vaishnava. Kathamavayoho Panigrahana Mangalam Sarvajana Sammatam Bhavet. How will our Panigrahana Mahotsavam be accepted in the society? Nobody will accept it. So, and then she says, Shastra Virodhaschan Mahu. So, if it is against the Shastra, then it is so. Let our Panigrahana Mahotsava not take place. No chet swayam ritavatyaha mama parinayaha bhavadbhih karyaha eva, she says. So in your Sanidhanam, so you should understand that, I'm married in your Sanidhanam. So, and hearing and then listening to these words of hers, and then considering her background, so he decided that he has to take this girl to his place and marry her. So he got her in a different palanquin, and then he took her to his place in Adayappalam. And then after hearing this, when the father's girl came to know about this, so he was extremely angered. So this is an incident which took place some 600 years ago. So just imagine how it would have been some 600 years ago. And the girl's father, along with the Brahmanas of the Agrahara, so they all were very much infuriated. And they went to the place of Vakshasthalacharya. And at this time, Vakshasthalacharya, he asked the Maharaja to take care of the girl's father and her relatives. And the girl's father comes and he fires the Maharaja. And then the Maharaja pacifies the Brahmana and he says that he will give him all the dravyams required for him for his sustenance. And he gave him a lot of gold in charity. He also gave him a lot of lands in charity. And he said that he will never have to face poverty hereafter. And he said his daughter is going to get married to a very great Vidwan. And he doesn't have to worry about it. And following this conversation between him and the Vijayanagara Raja, the marriage between Totaramba and Vakshasthalacharya took place. And Vaikuntacharya or Rangarajacharya gave away his daughter Totaramba to a Smarta Brahmana. And after the marriage was over, he asked him one thing. The first son who will be born to you and my daughter, so he has to be named after me. My name has to be given to him. And this is my only prarthanam to you. And Vakshasthalacharya accepted it. And true to the words of his father-in-law, Vaikuntacharya or Rangarajacharya, a son was born. Because it is said that, for great tapasvis, the words of great tapasvis never go in vain. So anything that they utter, anything they say will take place. So it will occur, anything that they utter will take place. So as a result of that, as a result of the words of Rangarajacharya, a son was born to Vakshastalacharya and Totaramba. And he was named as Rangaraja. Rangaraja, the word Adhvari in Sanskrit means Dikshitaha, Makhi, Yajva. All of these are synonymous. Any person who is born in a family of Agnihotris and has performed many great, all the yagas prescribed in the Shrauta Sutram, he is known as Dikshita. So all of these words are synonymous. Dikshitaha, Yajva, Makhi, Adhvari. So all of these are synonymous. So we can call him as Rangaraja Adhvari, Rangaraja Dikshita. And Dikshitendra says in his Kalpatar Parimalam, Vaikunthacharya Vamsham Budhihimakirana Srimad Advaita Vidyacharya Shri Rangaraja Vayabhisata Yasho Vishwajidya Jisunoho Granthe Vedanta Kalpa Drugara Parimale Sarvajidya Jinosmin Purna Padojanishta Brahmarahita Hite Nirvishesha Pradhanaha. So saying this, he finished the third padam of chapter 1 of Kalpatar Parimalam. And this is very, very important. And over time, so Vakshastalacharya passed away. And K.V. Subramanya Shastri says, Yogena tanum visrajya. So the word Yogena here means, so it could either mean through the process of Ashtanga Yoga, he gave up his physical body. Or the word yoga, it means sannyasa. By taking sannyasam, he gave up his physical body. So that could also be, so the word yogena tanum visrajya could be interpreted in two different ways. And shashvatam dhama prapedire, he attained the eternal dhama. So that is moksha padavi. So this is about the life of Vakshastalacharya. And now we move on to the life of Rangaraja Adhvari, the father of Srimad Appayya Dikshitendra. Says K.V. Subramanya Shastrigal, Teshamcha, so the Teshamcha means Vakshastalacharyanam cha Bhaskarasya Chaya Suvarchala iva Chandanuvartinyau Dve Patnyau Babhuvatuhu. That Vakshastalacharya had two wives, and just like Surya Bhagavan Bhaskarasya Chaya Suvarchale iva. So just like Surya Bhagavan had Chaya Devi and Suvarchala Devi as wives, Vakshastalacharya had two wives. One wife was a Smartha and the other one Totaramba was a Shri Vaishnava. And Chandanuvartinyau. So what Chandanuvartini means, so a person who keeps following another person constantly and fulfilling all his desires. So such a person is known as Chandanuvarti. And what Chandanuvartini is, he had two wives who were greatly devoted to him. And they were always at the service of Vakshastalacharya. So that is why he says, Chandanuvartinyau dve patnyau babhuvatuhu. He had two wives who were Chandanuvartinyau. Techa pratyekam sakalakala parangatan Kumaro Kumaran Chaturah Kumaran Prasuvata. The two wives, they gave birth to sons who were great scholars, who were great experts in all the kalas. And then Tayoho Dvitiyayam Sahadharmacharinyam Prasuteshu Chaturshu. Among the two wives, Dvitiyayam Sahadharmacharinyam. So those sons who were born to the second wife, Sahadharmachari. So the word Sahadharmachari means, Sahadharmachari means, so it means a wife always assists her husband in his life, and together they perform all dharma karyams in life. So that is why she is known as Sahadharmachari of a husband. So even in Valmiki Ramayana, he says, Iyam Sita Mamasuta Sahadharmachari Tava. So this is a very famous verse in Valmiki Ramayana. So the word Sita, Sahadharmachari, the word is used to refer to Sita Devi. Sita Devi is Sahadharmachari of Ramar. So in this way, Dvitiyayam Sahadharmacharinyam Prasuteshu, Chaturshu, of the four sons who were born to the junior wife, Vayasa, Yashasa, Mahasa cha Jayam Saha Rangaraja Dhvarinaha. Shri Rangaraja Dhvari was greater than all the four of them in age. So that is, he was the eldest in age. Yashasa, by fame, he was the greatest among the four sons. Mahasa, by personal greatness, he was the greatest. Jayam Saha means he was greater. And then he says, Ye Diganta Vishranta Yashasam Dikshitendranam Pitrasthanochitam Bhagya Paripaka Paramparama Pedire Yanshcha Medhavinaha Anavaratam Patha Pravachana Niratana Advaitacharya Varyan Sabhasu Sumethasa Prashamsanti Yaischa Grathitaha Advaita Vidyamukura Vivarana Darpanadayaha Advaita Prabandhaha Kushagra Buddhi Bhiradriyante Yebhyaha Vakyapatavavarjita Vichakshana Ganebhyaha Bhojatishayi Saraswati Vilasaha Bhumipalaha Sabhadhyakshatam Angikarayatum Asprihayanta Yebhyaha Adhita Veda Vedarthaha Vangmukha Pratoshita Vibudha Antevasi Nichayaha Disho Vidishascha Vyanashira Yeshamcha Mukharavinda Girikandarat Nirargala Shastra Pravachana Jharaihi Vitusham Samshaya Pankaha Akshalyanta Yeshucha Kalanidhi Chudamani Nishtha Sarvatishajini Bhakti Paripati Samaidhata. So this is a very beautiful and very big prose written by K.V. Subramanya Shastrigal. So in Sanskrit grammar there are 7 vibhaktis in Shabdarupam. So if there are people who have studied basics of Sanskrit. So just like all the prepositions from using a person as a predicate, the subject, using something as a word as predicate, with, by, to, from, in, on, off. So all of these words, we know all of these words and we use all of these in all languages. So in Sanskritam, so all of these are studied under the heading of Shabdarupam. So there are 7 vibhaktis. So under each vibhakti, the prepositions like in and on fall under the Saptami vibhakti. Off falls under 6th or Shashti vibhakti. So from that falls under Panchami vibhakti. So it goes on like that in Sanskrit grammar. So he has beautifully used all the 7 vibhaktis in this Gadyam. So the Gadyam means prose. So the first vibhakti used is, while describing the greatness of Rangaraja Dikshita, Ye Diganta Vishranta Yashasam Dikshitendranam Pitrasthanochitam Bhagya Paripaka Paramparama Pedide. So it means Ye Vakshasthalacharya, so which Vakshasthalacharya Dikshitendra Pitrasthanochitam Bhagya Paripaka Paramparam. So he attained the eminent sthanam. So of being the father of Srimad Appayya Dikshitendra, and the Dikshitendra's yashas was, so it knew no bounds. So it means Diganta Vishranta Yashasam. So Dika means so the final boundary of Dikshitendra's fame was all the 8 directions. So that is why he says Diganta Vishranta Yashasam. So the boundary of Dikshitendra's fame rested in the 8 quarters, the end of the 8 quarters. So the attainment of the state of fatherhood of Dikshitendra, who was an incarnation of Parameshwara himself, so that attribute of the Rangarajadhvari, so that has been explained in this segment of the prose. And then Dvitiya Vibhakti, Yanshcha Medhavinaha Anavaratam Patha Pravachana Niratana Advaitacharya Varyan Sabhasu Sumedhasa Prashamsanti. So in this segment of the prose, the state of being a recipient of the praise of scholarly men as an eminent Advaitacharya, so that is being highlighted in this segment of the prose, this segment of the Gadyam. So Yanshcha Medhavinaha, so Medhavi, the intellectual scholars, Sabhasu Sumedhasaha Prashamsanti, great Panditas, so they praise him in all Vidvat Sabhas, in all Sabhas they praise him. How do they praise him? Anavaratam Patha Pravachana Niratana Advaitacharya Varyana, as a great Advaitacharya, an eminent Advaitacharya who is constantly engaged in teaching Advaita Vedanta to his disciples. So this is how great scholars of Advaita Vedanta praise Vakshasthalacharya. And then Tritiya Vibhakti or the third Vibhakti is being used in the next segment of the prose. Yaisha Grathitaha Advaita Vidya Mukura Vivarana Darpanadayaha Advaita Prabandhaha Kushagra Buddhibhiradriyante. In this segment of the Gadyam, the reverence for Vakshasthalacharya's works by intellectuals, so that is being highlighted in this segment of the Gadyam. Yaischa Grathitaha, the works like Advaita Vidya Mukura and Vivarana Darpana, composed by whom? And Advaita Prabandhaha, works in Advaita Vedanta, Kushagra Buddhibhiradriyante. So they are being highly revered and accepted. So by those whose buddhi, whose intellect is as sharp as a Kushagra's. So that is how highly intellectual students and scholars of Vedanta revere the works of Vakshasthalacharya. And today these works, Advaita Vidya Mukura and Vivarana Darpanam, so these works are not available today. And it is a great misfortune for the world that these works are not available today. In the next segment of the Gadyam, he uses the Chaturthi Vibhakti. And in this segment of the Gadyam, the state of being implored by the best of kings to accept very high posts. So that is this attribute of Rangaraja Dikshitendra that is being highlighted here. Yebhyaha Vakyapatavavarjita Vichakshana Ganebhyaha Bhojatishahi Saraswati Vilasaha Bhumipalaha Sabhadhyakshatam Angikarayitum Asprihayanta. So Vakyapatavavarjita Vichakshana Ganebhyaha, this is one adjective used to describe Rangaraja Dvari. So it means he had defeated many groups of scholars in Vakyartha Vidvat Sabhas through his through the Vakyapatavam. So by his brilliant words he used us in Vakyarthas. And as a result of that, great kings Bhumipalaha and Bhojatishayi Saraswati Vilasaha, so great kings who respected every form of learning. So they requested Sabhadhyakshatam Angikarayitum. So they were competing with each other to go request Vakshasthalacharya, Rangaraja Dvari, and come to their own Rajasabhas as the court Pandita. So the kings were competing with each other to have Vakshasthalacharya as the court Pandita in each one of their kingdoms. In the next segment, the Panchami Vibhakti is being used. The spread of his disciples in different parts of the country. So those disciples of Rangaraja Dvari who finished studying under him, so they, after finishing their studies, though they go settle in different parts of the country. So that is being described here. Yebhyaha adhita veda vedarthaha Vamukha pratoshita vibudha vargaha antevasi vijayaha disho vidishascha vyanashire. So under whom multitudes of students studied the Vedas along with their Bhashya. And after studying this, so they expanded to different parts of the country. So this is the fifth Vibhakti. And then in the sixth Vibhakti, he says, Yesham cha mukharavinda girikandarat nirargala shastra pravachana jharaihi vidusham samshaya pankaha akshalyanta. So in this segment of the Gadyam, the ability of Rangaraja Dvari to remove the doubts in the minds of students efficiently through his Patha Pravachanam or lectures. So that is being highlighted in this segment of the Gadyam. So Yesham cha mukharavinda girikandarat. So by the uninterrupted cataract of the exposition of the Shastras, so which falls from the mountain cave of the lotus-like mouth of whom, of which Rangaraja Dvari, Vidusham samshaya pankaha akshalyanta, the slush of the scholars' doubts get removed. And then the seventh Vibhakti is being used in the last segment of the Gadyam. And in this part of the Gadyam, the state of the growing devotion of Parameshwara. So this attribute of Rangarajadhvari is being described here. Jeshucha Kalanidhi Chudamani Nishtha Sarvatishahini Bhakti Paripati Samaidhata. So in whom devotion on Parameshwara, which abounded in every way, kept growing stronger and stronger. So this is how K.V. Subramanya Shastrigal finishes this Gadyam. And then he says, he was named as Rangarajadhvari by Rangaraja Sharma by his father Vakshasthalacharya. And in the famous work written by Dikshitendra known as Kalpataru Parimalam. So there in the first chapter of Kalpataru Parimalam, Dikshitendra begins the chapter by offering a Guru Vandanam to his father. And in the same way, he finishes the first chapter, first padam of Brahma Sutras. So as I told you, Kalpataru Parimalam is the Brahma Sutras of Vyasacharya. So they were commented upon by Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavatpada. And he wrote Bhashyam on Brahma Sutras. The Brahma Sutra Bhashyams of the Bhashyam of Bhagavatpada were commented upon by Vachaspati Mishra. And this commentary is known as Bhamati. Bhamati was commented upon by Amalananda Saraswati or Vyasashrama Swamigal or Amalananda Saraswati Swamigal, and this commentary is known as Vedanta Kalpataru. Vedanta Kalpataru of Amalananda was commented upon by Srimad Appayya Dikshitendra, and this commentary is known as Parimalam. So in his Parimalam, he begins the first Padam, chapter 1, Padam 1 of Parimalam. He begins it and ends it by offering a Guru Vandanam to his father. So he says, Gurubhirupadishtamartham Vismritam api tatra bodhitam prajnaihi avalambya shivamadhiyan yathamati vyakaromi kalpatarum. So Gurubhirupadishtamartham. So it means during his earlier years, he had studied Advaita Vedanta under his father, Sri Rangarajadhvari. The word Gurubihi means it refers to his father. So by directly looking at the text of Parimalam, we cannot come to a conclusion. So only when we go through the last shlokas of the Padam 1 of Parimalam, only when we integrate the two, we can understand it. So the word Guru here refers to his father Rangarajadhvari. So during his earlier life, he studied Advaita Vedanta under his father, and later on, he turned his mind towards the system of Shivadvaita Vedanta of Srikantha Shivacharya, and he made very great contributions to that school of Vedanta, and he completely forgot the school of Adi Shankara Bhagavatpada's Vedanta. And later on, some great Mahatma came and met Appayya Dikshitendra, and he reminded him to turn his mind towards Appayya Dikshitendra. And this great Mahatma, so he says, Vismritam api tatra. Vismritam api means I forgot the path of Advaita. So I forgot making contributions to Advaita Vedanta. And later on, tatra bodhitam pragnihi. So I was reminded of one great Mahatma. And this great Mahatma was a sannyasi from Maharashtra. He came all the way from Maharashtra to Tamil Nadu to see Dikshitendra and convince him to turn his mind towards Advaita Vedanta. He wanted him to forget Shivadvaita, and he wanted him to turn his mind towards Advaita Vedanta. Vismritam api tatra bodhitam prajnaihi. And then he says, Avalambya Shivamadhiyan. So I've been studying the Shaiva Siddhantam, that is the Shaiva Veda. It's not the modern Shaiva Siddhanta that is known today in Tamil Nadu. So this refers to Shaiva Vedanta, which is a Prachina Sampradaya and an ancient philosophy, so which is not prevalent today. Avalambya Shivamadhiyan. So I've been working hard to study Shaiva Vedanta. And then Yathamati Vyakaromi Kalpataru. So with whatever little I can do, I shall try to explain Kalpataru of Amalananda Saraswati Swamigal. I shall write a commentary on Amalananda Saraswati Swamigal's Kalpataru. So this is how he begins Parimala Vyakyanam's first Adhyayam, first Padam. And at the end he says, Kanabhaksha Padaksha Kapaksha Parishkara Nakshana Takshana Daksha Giram Ati Katkasha Tatkasha Taksha Bhitaksha Pitaksha Panakshana Bhangapadam Kapilokti Nirakarana Pravadam Pandaga Sukti Parishkaranam Nayamoktika Bhushita Bhattamatam Vimaladvayachit Sukhamagna Mahatamapi Manyatamam Vidusham Viniveshya Gurum Hridi Vaishvachitam Nayasam Hatishalini Kalpatarao Vivritascharana Prathama Prathitaha. So this is how he offers Guru Vandanam to his father and finishes the first padam, first chapter of Brahma Sutra. Hridi Vaishvachitam Gurum Viniveshya Kalpatarao Prathamaha Charanaha Vivrataha. These are the most important words of these three shlokas. So Gurum Hridi Viniveshya, by contemplating on Guru in my Hridayam, in my mind. So who is that Guru? Vaishvajitam. So Vishvajita Ishtavaniti Vaishvajita. So one who has performed a yajnam named Vishvajita. So this Vishvajita, this yajnam is known as Sarvasva Dakshinakaha Yajnaha. So in this yajnam, a Brahmana has to give away everything that is there in his possession. So to perform a yajnam like Vishvajit, he should be extremely affluent. So he should have the patronage of many kings, and only then he can, he will be able to perform a very expensive yajna like Vishvajit. So generally all Shrauta Karma, so all the yajnas like Vajapayam, Agnishtomam, Atyagnistomam, Garuda Chayanam. So all of these yagas are extreme, very, very expensive. So as on today, so the cost of each yajna, it would range between 15 lakhs to 25 lakhs. So in this way, so the most costliest of all yajnas is a yajnam like Vishvajit. And after performing this yajna, so the Yashta, so the Brahmana who performed Vishvajit, and he and his wife, they are supposed to lead a life of poverty. So that is how the Shastras have mandated. And once a Brahmana performs Vishvajit Yajnam, he doesn't have to perform Agnihotram anymore. So Rangarajadwari had performed very rare and extremely difficult to perform Yajnams like Vishvajit. So that is why Dikshitendra says, Vaishvajitam Gurum. So Gurum Hridi Viniveshya, by offering Vandanam to Guru in my Hridayam. So he says Kalpataro, in Kalpataru Vyakyanam Prathamaha Charanaha Vivrataha. The first padam of first chapter has been explained, it has been commented upon. So the most important word is Vaishvajitu Guru. So these are the most important words. And many adjectives have been used to describe his father. So the first adjective is Karnabhaksha Padaksha Kapaksha Parishkara Nakshana Takshana Daksha Giram. So Karnabhaksha means, so one who eats karnas or atoms. So Kanadam Harshi is known as Karnabhaksha. And Padakshakaha means Pati Akshayasya. So one who has eye in his toe, in his foot, he is known as Padakshaka. Gautama Maharshi is known as Padakshaka because he used to have an eye in his foot. Because of that, he is known as Padakshaka. Karnabhaksha Padakshaka, and then Paksha Parishkarana Kshana Takshana Dakshagihi. So Tayoho Pakshaha Karnabhaksha Padakshaka Pakshaha. So the darshanam or the philosophies of Karnabhaksha and Padaksha, that is the Nyaya Darshan, Vaisheshika Darshanam propounded by Kanada Maharshi and Nyaya Darshanam propounded by Gautama Maharshi. So we all know that there are 6 schools of Vedic philosophy. So these are known as 6 darshanas. Sankhya Darshana and Yoga Darshana, Nyaya Darshanam and Vaisheshika Darshanam, Purva Mimamsa Darshanam and Uttara Mimamsa Darshanam. These are the 6 darshanas in Vaidika Dharma. So the Sankhya Darshana was propounded by Kapila Maharshi. Yoga Darshanam was propounded by Patanjali Maharshi. And then Nyaya Darshanam by Gautama Maharshi, Vaisheshika Darshanam by Kanada Maharshi, Purva Mimamsa Darshanam by Jaimini, and Vedanta Darshanam by Sri Vyasacharya. In this way, we have 6 Vaidika Darshanas. So in this, the word Parishkaranam means to do Khandanam of it. So he used to, wherever Khandanam of Nyaya Darshanam and Vaisheshika Darshanam have to be done, so there he used to do Khandanam of Nyaya Darshanam and Vaisheshika Darshanam. And while doing the same, simultaneously while doing Khandanam of it, he would also do Mandanam of it. So whichever parts of these philosophies are acceptable to Vedanta Darshana, so he used to accept them and he used to highlight them. So that is why Takshana Karmani, so while doing a Vyakaranam of it, by bringing out the secret meanings of it, he was also expert in condemning those portions of it that was not in accordance with Vedanta Darshana. So that is why Kanna Bhaksha Padakshaka Paksha Parishkara Nakshana Takshana Dakshagihi. And then the next adjective that is used here is Atikarka Shatarka Shatakshu Kshapitak Shapanakshana Bhanga Padam. Atikarkashaha means Nitaram Kathinaha, extremely difficult. Atikarkashaha Chate Tarkashataha, so hundreds of logics, extremely difficult logics that have been used by the Buddhists and Jains. So those Vadas, so those Vadas that had been put forth, extremely difficult Vadas that had been put forth by the Buddhists and Jains, they had been demolished. Ati karkasha tarkashata kshubhitam and kshapitam. So the word kshubhitam means to cause agitation to it, and kshapitam means to reduce it and defeat it completely. So whose matam? So kshapanas and kranabhangas of the Jains and Buddhists and Jains. So he had also written works refuting the Buddhist and Jain philosophies. Kapilokti Nirakarana Pravanam. Kapilokti, he means the sayings of Kapila Maharshi. So this is Sankhya Darshanam. Tasya Nirakarana Pravanaha. So an expert in, so this is full of Dvaita Bhava. So Sankhya Darshanam contains a lot of Dvaita Bhava. So he was an expert in refuting Sankhya Darshanam. Kritapannaga Sukti Parishkaranam. So the word Pannaga Sukti, he means the sayings of the writings of Pannaga Maharshi, Patanjali Maharshi. So Pannaga Maharshi, he had the head of serpent. So that is why he was known as Pannaga. Pannaga Sukti Parishkaranam. So Parishkarana means explanation. So Kritam Pannaga Sukti Parishkarana means he also wrote commentary on the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali Maharshi. So that is how the meaning of this shloka of Dikshitendra appears. Nayamoktika Bhushita Bhattamatam. So Nayaha eva Moktikaha. So when the word Nayaha means yukti or logic. So when that is compared with pearl, so that is Nayamoktikam. So using using yuktis that resembled pearls, he decorated, so he bhushitam means he decorated the Matam of Bhatta, Kumarila Bhattapada. So it means he wrote a commentary on the works of Kumarila Bhattapada. And then Vimaladvaya Chit Sukhamagna. So Vimalam Chatata Advayam. So the Vimalam Advayam is the pure Nirvishesham Param Brahma, the supreme impersonal Brahman, which is devoid of all attributes, names, forms, and so on. So that is Nirvishesham Param Brahma. So Advaya Chit Sukham Agnadem, he was deeply immersed in the supreme bliss of Advaita Chit Sukha. And then Mahatam Api Manyatamam Vidusham. So Mahatam Api Vidusham Manyatamam. So even among even amongst very great scholars, he was considered very great. He was considered very respectable, even among in an assembly of very great scholars. So by going through all these shlokas, so what is clear is Rangaraja Dhari was a Sarvatantra Swatantra. He had equal pandityam in all the Vedic philosophy, all Vaidika darshanas. He was a great scholar in Sankhya Darshana. He was a great scholar in Yoga Darshana. He was a very great scholar in Vaisheshika Darshana and Nyaya Darshana. So that is why, and he was also a great scholar in Purva Mimamsa and Vedanta. And from these shlokas, this description of Dikshitendra, so it appears that he must have written great works in Purva Mimamsa Shastram. He must have written a commentary on Yoga Sutras. So in all, none of his works are available today. And Nayasam Hitishalini Kalpatarau Vivritashcharanaha Prathama Prathitaha. So in all of his works, Dikshitendra says that he says that only his Shiksha Guru, that means the Guru who imparted all knowledge to him was his own father Rangaraja Dhari. So in Advaita Vedanta, there is a work known as Shastra Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha. So even today in the Sampradayam, in our Shankaracharya Sampradaya today, the very first book that is taught to students in Advaita Vedanta is Shastra Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha. So a student of any school of Vedanta, whether Vishishta Advaitam or Advaita Vedanta, before entering into the study of Vedanta, a student must have studied at least work like Siddhanta Kaumudi in Vyakaranam Shastram. So the Sanskrit grammar is very important. You must have studied at least the basic texts like Tarka Sangraha, Muktavali, and Dinakari. So these works in Tarka Shastra, and a few works in Purva Mimamsa Shastram also. These are very essential. At least only when these texts are studied and mastered, a student can enter into the study of Advaita Vedanta. So for this, all of these, the basic text, he must have studied the basic texts in Vyakaranam, Tarkashastram and Purva Mimamsa to be an ordinary student of Vedanta. To be an extraordinary student of Vedanta, some works in Purva Mimamsa, some advanced texts in Purva Mimamsa should be studied. So only then, for example, when we analyze the works of Advaita Acharyas like Madhusudana Saraswati, so extraordinary scholarship in Tarkashastram is necessary. Extraordinary scholarship in Tarkashastram plus extraordinary scholarship in Dvaita Vedanta plus extraordinary scholarship in Advaita Vedanta. Only then a student can understand and comprehend the works of Acharyas like Madhusudana Saraswati. So he's written excellent works like Advaita Siddhi. So the celebrated author of Advaita Siddhi is Madhusudana Saraswati. To understand Madhusudana Saraswati's Advaita Siddhi, a decent knowledge of Tarkashastram, a decent knowledge of Dvaita Vedantam, or decent knowledge of Advaita Vedanta is not required. So it is an asadharana pandityam, extraordinary scholarship. In each of these three Shastras is required. So in the same way, to study the Vedantic works of Srimad Appayya Dikshitendra, a decent knowledge of Purva Mimamsa may not be required. So it would be a decent knowledge of Purva Mimamsa would be too deficient. So an extraordinary knowledge, so an asadharana pandityam in Purva Mimamsa is required to study the Vedantic works of Srimad Appayya Dikshitendra. So everywhere in all of his Vedantic works, whether it is in works in Advaita Vedanta or works in Shivadvaita Vedanta or works in Vishishtadvaita Vedanta, it requires a great deal of scholarship in Purva Mimamsa to study and understand the works of Dikshitendra. So the Shastra Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha, so after a student has studied the three Shastrams, Vyakarana Shastram, Tarka Shastram and Purva Mimamsa, the very first work that is taught to him is Shastra Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha. And this is a very interesting work and this is a very excellent work. And after studying Shastra Siddhanta Lesha Sangraham, only then a student will be taught the Bhagavad Gita Bhashyam of Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada. And after Bhagavad Gita Bhashyam is taught, Upanishad Bhashyam of Acharya will be taught, selected portions will be taught in series. So the 3 to 4 semesters there will be Upanishad Bhashyam of Bhagavad Pada. And some portions of Upanishad Bhashyams will be taught directly by the Guru to the Shishya. And the rest of it, the Shishya has to study on his own and understand without the help of a Guru. So some portions of Upanishad Bhashyams of Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada will be studied under the Guru. So the rest of it, a student will have to study on his own, without the support and without the guidance of the Guru. So that he has to gain the ability to study and understand. And after the Upanishad Bhashyams are done, Brahma Sutra Bhashyams of Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada will be taught. And after Brahma Sutra Bhashyam of Adi Shankaracharya, again the series of commentaries like Bhamati commentary, Kalpataru commentary will be taught. And then finally Appayya Dikshitendra's Parimala Vyakyanam. So always in Advaita Vedanta today, the study of Vedanta begins from Appayya Dikshitendra's works and it ends with the works of Appayya Dikshitendra. So and only then, so that is how in Sampradaya it goes on. And even an advanced student, so even after studying Advaita Vedanta for 10 to 12 years without diverting his focus, so after attending many sabhas, presenting Vakyarthas in many sabhas, if a student of Advaita Vedanta, if a scholar of Advaita Vedanta, so after 10 to 12 years of great Adhyayanam, Adhyapanam and all that, so if he spends once again 3 to 4 months of study of Shastra Siddhanta Lesha Sangraham of Dikshitendra, so the same text will appear in different way to him. So many different meanings will be revealed to him when he studies it. So as a beginner of Advaita Vedanta, when he studies Shastra Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha, it will appear to him in a different way. And after many years of Parishrama in Advaita Vedanta, once again if he comes back to Advaita Vedanta, he just forgets everything else and sits and studies at the Shastra Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha. So he will understand many concepts, the same thing which he has studied, discussed in many places, he will understand it in many different dimensions. So that is the greatness of Srimad Appayya Dikshitendra's works. And then his Shastra Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha, so he talks very great about his father. Prachinair Vyavahara Siddha Vishayeshvat Atmaikya Buddhau Param Sannahyat Bhiranadaranat Saranayaha Nana Vidhadar Hitaha Tanmulaniha Sangrahena Katichit Siddhanta Bhedan Dhiyaha Shuddhai Sankalayam Tata Charana Vyakhyavata Khyapitana. So after Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada wrote his Brahma Sutra Bhashyam, many Acharyas appeared after him. Many great Acharyas, during the time of Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada, so we had Sureshwar Acharya, Padmapada Acharya, so they were direct disciples of Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada. And after Sureshwar Acharya and Padmapada Acharya, so we have many great Acharyas like Vidyaranya and then Vachaspati Mishra. So what happened is over time, so there were two different schools of thoughts emerged within the tradition of Advaita Vedanta. And Shastra Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha, so this is a treatise which sheds light on the doctrinal differences between the different schools of thought within Advaita Vedanta. And the words used by Dikshitendra in the first shloka here, so they remind us that. So he was a student of his father Sri Vakshasthalacharya, and then he begins the Pitracharan of the Tatacharan of Vyakaranam is very, very important. So what happened is there was one school of thought of Padmapada. So Bhamatikara and Vivaranacharya. So one Bhamatikara, so his school is different and Vivaranacharya's school is different. So and the many different doctrinal differences that occurred between these two Acharyas, many concepts are being explained by Acharyas in many different ways. So Atmaikya Siddhau. So Atma, so on the oneness of the Atman, so Prachinaihi Vyavahara Siddha Vishayeshu. So these certain concepts have been explained by Acharyas of the Prachina Kala. So in spite of that, certain concepts in Advaita Vedanta are being explained and they have been explained in different ways by different Acharyas. And all of those differences, so they are being studied and explained here in this treatise known as Shastra Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha. And he says the purpose of this is Dhiyaha Shuddhyai, for the sake of purity of intellect, that is clarity of thought and expression in Advaita Vedanta. To have clarity of thought and clarity of understanding in Advaita Vedanta, he says, I am writing this work known as Shastra Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha, and the words he uses here are Tatacharana Vyakyavachashyapitana. So the word Tataha means father. Tatacharana Vyakya. So as explained in the commentaries of my father, so as shown in the commentaries of my father, so the way my father has explained in his commentary, his works, I am explaining the same concepts in the same way. So works like Shastra Siddhanta Lesha Sangraham, Nyaya Rakshamani, and Kalpataru Parimalam. So we can assume that all of these works must have been written by Dikshitendra in the way his father Rangaraja Adhvari taught him Advaita Vedanta. So it is possible, a very humble and faithful Shishya of a Guru. So his method of teaching the Shastra to his disciples, so it will be in the same style and in the same method. So we can assume that the teachings of Rangaraja Adhvari have been reflected in all the works of Srimad Appayya Dikshitendra. So that is the greatness of his Guru. And in works like Nyaya Rakshamani and Shivarkamani Deepika, he says, Yam Brahma Nishchita Dhiyah Pravadanti Sakshat Tat Darshana Dakhila Darshana Parabhajaha Tam Sarva Veda Samashesha Budhadhirajam Asmat Pitama Srirangam Akhinam Pitaram Natosmi. I bow down to my father Sri Rangaraja Adhvari, whom Brahma Nishchita Dhiyaha, Nishchita Dhiyaha Akhila Darshana Parabhajaha. So those self-realized souls, Akhila Darshana Parabhajaha. So those scholars who know all the Vaidika darshanas and Nastika darshanas in their complete depth. So who have dived down to the greatest depths of all the Vaidika darshanas, and Nishchita Dhiyaha. So their minds have been deeply entrenched in all the Shastras. It means they are Shastra Nishnatas. So such great men describe my father as Sakshat Brahma Pravadanti. So they describe him to be a manifestation of Brahman itself. So there is a very famous saying, Brahmavita Brahmaiva Bhavati. So the one who realizes Brahman verily becomes the Brahman itself. So there is no difference between him and the Brahman. So Brahmavita Brahmaiva Bhavati, as a result of it, so those Shastra Nishnatas who take a darshan of Rangarajadhvari, they describe him to be no different from Brahman itself. So this is a very rare thing. So generally, in our sampradaya, what the great scholars and acharyas have told us, it is very difficult for a person to have Brahma Sakshatkaram during Grihasthashramam itself. So that is the reason a person who wants to have self-realization, who wants to realize Brahman, in his Grihasthashrama, he must have performed all the Shrauta Smarta karmas. And he must have also performed many upasanas. He must have observed Varnashrama Dharma completely. And only then when he takes sannyasam, and then he must have also studied Vedantam during his Grihasthashrama itself. And after that, when he takes sannyasa, his sannyasa would be fruitful. So he becomes a karma sambhavita chitta shuddha. So he would have obtained the pure karma, chitta shuddhi. So purification of mind by performing innumerable shrauta smarta karmas. Only then his mind will be capable of cultivating nirvishesha jnana, so the knowledge of impersonal Brahma. So only for that reason, so sannyasam is advocated. So without sannyasam, it is not possible to realize the Brahman. In Grihasthashrama, it is not at all possible. It's extremely difficult. And only one in a million Grihasthas can realize the Brahman during Grihasthashrama itself. And such Mahatmas are very few. Acharyas like Vakshasthalacharya, Acharyas like Rangarajadhvari, Srimad Appayya Dikshitendra, Sri Bhaskararaya Dikshitendra, such, and then Mannagudi Privasu, such Mahatmas are very, very rare. So it's only such Mahatmas, they can realize the Brahman during their Grihasthashrama itself. So this is the description of his father, Sri Rangarajadhvari. So with this, I will finish today's Bhashanam. And in the next Bhashanam, I will discuss the rest of the story of Dikshitendra Vijayam. So how Dikshitendra was born to Rangarajadhvari and his wife. So all that will be dealt with in the next Bhashanam. So with this, I finish today's Bhashanam. Hara Namo Parvati Pataye, Hara Hara Mahadeva.